Lastly, our meatier chunk of what we're going to be talking about this evening, and just to circle back a little bit to our last topic. Again, Andrew and Adam's show about the top 10 quarterbacks coming out of this draft is a really great watch. And make sure you go and catch that and the rest of their college stuff that they're going to be doing all the way up to the draft. A lot of fun. The guys work really hard on it, a lot of research. And again, if you're into fantasy football or, your team's picking high up in the draft, it's definitely worth watching because you want to know maybe a little bit more about these players, and especially if you're not into college either. This might be the first time you hear about them. And Andrew and Adam's analysis of them is sublime. They work really hard. So, really, really great show that you did so far, guys. I'm really excited to see what's coming next. As I said, we're on to sort of the trades, releases, franchise tag, etc., etc., etc. So the deals that have been done already trade-wise, we've had David Montgomery, running back of the Detroit Lions. He has been traded to the Houston Texans. They got back Scruggs, the offensive lineman, and I believe it was a 4th and a 7th that got moved as well, but I can't remember which way it was. Jermaine Johnson, the edge from the New York Jets, was traded for T'Vondre Sweat at the Tennessee Titans. They traded an edge for a defensive tackle, and then Titus Brown, offensive tackle for the Houston Texans, was traded for a 2nd-round pick, 2026 2nd-round pick. So this draft coming up to the Cleveland Browns. Had some franchise tag stuff as well happen, which is just here. So far, George Pickens and Carl Pitts have been franchise tagged as of today. So is Breece Hall, running back for the New York Jets. And it's come out that Kenneth Walker, MVP of the Super Bowl just a few weeks ago, has not been franchise tagged, which means he's going to be an unrestricted free agent, which means anyone can sign him, including Seattle. So he could still go back there. I mean, where do we want to start with this, lads? Do we want to start with the franchise tag guys? Do you want to start with the who's going to get released, with the who's going to be a who has been a cap casualty and continues to be, who may be trade? What avenue do you want to start with here? What would you prefer?
Adam, you got any choices?
Whatever you like, Fred.
Whatever I like. Okay, we'll start with who's going to be released and the likelihood of how, potentially how sought after they're going to be. So far at the minute, Graham Glasgow, guard for the Lions, has been released today. Marshawn Lattimore was also released today, cornerback for the Washington Commanders. A couple of days ago, Jawan Taylor, the offensive tackle for the Chiefs, was. It was announced by Minnesota that they are looking to trade, but they are planning to release Aaron Jones, running back, and Javon Hargrave, defensive tackle. And the rumor mill is Tua Tagovailoa, Miami quarterback. That's pretty much been confirmed that they're going to try and get rid of him. Geno Smith is a rumor. James Conner's a rumor. Alvin Kamara as well. I mean, the problem is this season, I think, is that we're going out to see more trades because all them names I've just read out there, do either of your teams want them? Do you want them? I mean, it's not a great as well as not a great draft class to some. It's not a great free agency class either, is it?
It's not. No, I think that's probably fair. It's not really.
Just to defend, no.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with something, but no, it's not brilliant. I think it like you say, it's going to very, very much be more about trades, isn't it, than necessarily picking up free agent. I think obviously Ken Walker is going to become the main guy to try and get hold of, isn't he? That's where I think we're at, and it feels like the running back class. There are a few running backs in this free agency.
I think there's quite a few younger, really talented running backs that are hitting free agency. I think if that's an area that you want, then I think there's some value to be had at the running back position.
Yeah, I'm literally just trying to get the full list up as we're talking. So
yeah, I mean, well, what have you've got Walker, you've got ETN,
you've got Dobbins, you've got Hall's
it was
now.
Javon.
So
Hall's been a franchise tagged. Javonte Williams has signed, hasn't he, for the Cowboys? So he's not about. But yeah, I mean,
picked up, I would have thought, by someone.
Yeah.
Najee Harris back from his injury. Might have a
I
place
thought you
somewhere.
meant back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was like,
Well, he might want to get back there.
okay. Let's have a little look. So yeah, like you said, Brees Hall, Rico Dowdle, Tyler Algier, Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, J.K. Dobbins, Isaiah Pacheco, Brian Robinson, Kareem Hunt, Rashad White. That could be an interesting one. Yeah, I'm looking at names now. I mean, the quarterbacks: Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Wide receivers: Tyreek Hill, Tyreek Hill's already been released, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So the ones I said about released earlier, they've been in the last few days. Mike Evans, Christian Kirk are also in that. Trey Hendrickson, Khalil Mack. Oh no, Khalil Mack's not necessarily going back to the Chargers, but he said he's not retiring. Job Tonio, Wyatt Teller on the offensive line. Jimmy Ward has been released. I mean, yeah, it's just not that as interesting as fun as we've had with, even if Tua gets gone. I mean, that's a piece there, I suppose, is that with the trades and with the lack of sort of highlight talent and like names as well, and quarterbacks being the most valuable players in position. Because of what we've seen last season, is there going to be more of a rampant market for these quarterbacks as backup this season because of what we've seen happen where they're utilized a lot more. It's really important to have a good one. And then when they come in and they play really well, you might have a Malik Willis, Mac Jones situation where the rumor mill swirls, Andrew, and it looks like they could be traded somewhere or out of contract, and then they may be a starter.
What's your question? For drafting someone or
no? As in though these free agents as an entirety are not exciting, the quarterback section is usually one of the more exciting ones because
it's going to be exciting because there's lack of in the draft, isn't there? There's only consensus number one guy, and then no one really thinks that any of the others can really make it as a starter. Obviously, there might be one or two of those guys that do show up and do that. So I think that then makes the current guys that are free agents or might get cut or you can trade for a lot more exciting a prospect in free agency. I know there's a lot of veterans as well. You've got Geno Smith, Malik Willis, Kirk Cousins. You've got Tyler is Badgett obviously on the list of being traded as well. Obviously there was a lot of hype from him at the Bears. Mac Jones, lots of hype as well. Daniel Jones, yeah. Anthony Richardson's now put himself in the mix of being either traded or cut. So there's going to be lots of people because there's what we're saying. There's 8 quarterback needy teams and only 1 in the draft. So yes, it definitely makes this more exciting. And with the resurgence of Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield and what they've done, I think everybody wants. You'll hear it a lot now. Who's the next Sam Darnold? Who's the next Sam Darnold? And there's going to be
where have we heard that one before? Oh, it might be one of our episodes.
We did an episode about it like ages ago, and now it's become a coined phrase now because of it all picking back up. So I think there's that is going to create a lot of buzz around the quarterbacks in free agency and trading.
Okay, we'll go on to what is actually really, really fun for us, which is these potential trades who might get moved. I mean, I've got 3 names. I can imagine that you two have got these names accounted for anyway. So I'll start with AJ Brown, wide receiver at the Eagles. Massive disgruntlement in Philadelphia, as we know. No, I don't think anyone's outright from the organization gone, we're looking to trade. I think there's been whispers of they're taking the call. So, I mean, rumors are the Buffalo Bills are swooping around a little bit for him. I mean, Adam, have you heard any other team?
It's Bills and Patriots, isn't it? That's the kind of the 2 main ones that, to be honest, being linked to all of these sort of big wide receivers. So it's, I mean, like you say, AJ Brown to trade for, but it's like I think the theory is that if whoever doesn't get AJ Brown, or if they can't get AJ Brown, then they will be looking at Mike Evans. They will be looking at Tyreek Hill as potential options. Obviously, different types of wide receiver. Certainly, Tyreek Hill is anyway. But it kind of, I think that they're two teams that it just feels obvious, doesn't it, that they are needy of a wide receiver.
They're the two needy ones for me. I've hearing a lot about the Patriots more than the Bills. I think Bills is circumstantial, and the Patriots is actually some legs behind it because there was talks about it last year as well. What do you think they're going to have to give up for him? Because I'm hearing a lot that Howie Roseman's not got an issue with AJ Brown. That they're quite good as an organization relationship. So they're not going to want to get rid of him cheap. It's not going to be he's causing a problem, so we want to get him out for a third. They bought him for a first. Do you think he's going to be looking for a first back in return for him as value, or do you, I don't think they're going to give him up easy. I think he will get traded though.
I think it could be a first. If I was going to go like a package of some sorts, I would be looking at a first, a 4th/5th, or maybe a 4th and a 5th in multiple years, and maybe a low-end player. I think you could do that. I think if teams are trading a first for Sauce Gardner, who I know has the age factor, and Quinnen Williams, who has the age factor as well, because AJ Brown's what, 2 years older than them, maybe
28.
Yeah,
28. If you're win now, you're trading the first. Like if you're the Bills or the Patriots, you could argue on a rebuild. Still, yes, fantastic. They got to Super Bowl. We all know they're rebuilding. The Bills have been in win now for 4 years.
Well, since Josh Allen was the best quarterback, yeah. Exactly. You've got to be winning now, haven't you?
And they've never. When was the Bills made a splash like this? When was the last time they did a big trade? Diggs? Did they trade a first for Diggs?
I don't know what they traded.
I don't even remember now.
So he literally went. Okay, so Tennessee got a first and a third 4 years ago. He's now 28. I don't think you get a first for him.
Do you think that Philadelphia we'll keep him then? Yeah. Yeah.
I think you get maybe like a second and a third.
I think if I'm the Eagles, I'm wanting a player and a second. I think you could do a deal with.
Well, you could do that instead of the third. You could do a second and a player.
Just to circle back as well. Oh no, I've got the wrong thing. I was trying to forget the Stephon Diggs. Sorry, please carry on. Sorry, apologies. I was trying to get the trade for Diggs.
Just thinking you could Keon Coleman not working out at the Bills, you could package him up with his age on a rookie deal, and with the fact that he could be unlocked somewhere else.
To be fair, they got Stephon Diggs in a 2027. They traded a first, a 5th, and a 6th in the same year in 2020, and then in 2021 a 4th. I like when you hear that. Was Stephon Diggs a better player than AJ Brown now? I suppose. Like obviously not now, but like at that current time.
At the time, he was one of the best.
When was that?
Minnesota.
That must have been 2020. That must have been because the picks were 2020.
So how old is Diggs now? 31.
Yeah, probably.
So it's probably, so you're talking about a guy who was younger than what Brown is now at the time.
Stephon Diggs is 32 now, as of today.
And you say it was 2020,
March 2020.
So 6 years ago. So he was 26. So and Brown's 28. I just think, unfortunately, age just really does make a huge impact in this. And I think you'll be lucky to get a first for him. I think you could go a second and a player. You could go a second and a third, whatever you want to do. I mean, I'd argue the second and the third is worth more than the second and Keon Coleman. But
yeah, to be really frank, you could probably put Keon Coleman in the deal.
A second and third and Keon Coleman.
But the Eagles have taken on poor wide receivers. They've done that historically.
Yeah.
In the last 2 years, they've taken on players, and we've been like, "Why you got him in?" They're like, and it's always like someone's got to play our 6th string wide receiver, so we might as well have him. So,
I just feel the Eagles, although it didn't work out particularly great for them this past season, they still believe and they still are a win now team. So the idea of packaging something, like you say, it feels like it'd have to be a first. And I just don't think a team is going to do that. It just kind of feels too much.
I just think there's 3 wide receivers that in the draft that are high. If you're not going to get one of them, the rest are a gamble. There's a lot of slot guys. And there's no one in free agency at the wide receiver position. So if you do want a wide receiver,
so someone will overpay.
I think you're because what are you getting with that first? I think what we're doing here is hyping the first round pick too much. What are the Bills going to get at the pick that they get with their first? The people are saying Casey Conception or Denzel Boston.
At what, 27, 28?
Yeah, I'm going. Are those 2 wide receivers better than AJ Brown? No. So, what's the first to you? If that's what you're going to take with your first, why not give it away? I think you're hyping the first round pick too much, depending on where you are in the draft.
Can the same be said for Max Crosby, though, a player that has been rumored a lot to be going for 2 first-round picks and a player as well? The Lions heavily rumored to be looking at him.
I think everybody will be interested in him. I think everybody will pick the phone up and go, "What's it going to cost me?" Pretty much. I think I think most people will test the waters on Crosby, but 2 firsts I don't think is too much for him with what he can do, and you can build around him if you've got the squad already. So I don't think that's silly, and I think I know you said, there's a couple of teams already. I think majority of the NFL will call and say, what's the price?
Where would you like to see him at?
I'm trying to remember who he's been.
Go on. Sorry,
I'm trying to remember who he's been connected to. There was another team that he was connected to, and there was a lot of rumors around it, and it kind of made a lot of sense because it wasn't the Lions though; it was a different team.
Dallas?
The Bears.
Yeah.
And you sort of think that would make quite a lot of sense actually, because it feels like they've got a lot of their pieces on the offense already. And
I had Bears taking edge rusher in the draft with their first as well.
So. Yeah. And it kind of feels like that would make a lot of sense. They've got the ability.
As well.
Yeah, so I think they might be the favourites to take him. I think that's what I read, that he was the favourites to trade for him. So I think the Bears makes a lot of sense, and that would obviously be good for them, sort of thing. So I mean, yeah, I agree. I don't think 2 firsts.
Injury prone. He's so good, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think 2 firsts is a problem for someone. I think that's the sort of player that you want to give first up for. I think it is like Micah Parsons. You want to give first up for him. You want to give first up for Max Crosby. I think that makes a lot of sense. And, the Bears are a team that when you think about their whole roster are in a pretty good spot. So it kind of makes sense for them to sort of go for it in that way.
If he gets any say in it whatsoever, he wants to be on the Super Bowl bubble, doesn't he? Like he's not going to want it. He's not going to go to adjacent to a team that is also pretty poor just because the teams have the picks. I mean, they wouldn't do it, but the Rams have 2 first-round picks this year. They could easily flog them over to the Raiders and try and get him. I mean, that could be an idea. Is there any fun ones that you two have got on your radar that you've been hearing about? Bit of ear to the ground stuff, Andrew?
I go with Adam first. He looks like
don't go with me. I haven't heard nothing.
I thought you turned to the screen like you were going to be like, "Oh yeah, I've got this big one here." I
haven't heard loads of names, but what I've heard consistently is we're going to see more trades than because the draft isn't quite there and the free agency isn't quite there, and I think there's going to be. We saw a lot of blockbuster trades happen in season last season. And I think maybe teams are just getting a little bit less afraid now to sort of go for it.
I think with the cap space going up as well, that
Mm.
kind of gives them the ability to be able to maneuver a lot of things around. So they do have the potential to be able to go for it a bit more as well. So I think that, like you say, it does make sense that that's the case. But DJ Moore's one that I've heard potentially moving on, not necessarily to a certain team, but just that's one. You know, they've Roma Dunze. I know he sort of went a bit quiet at the end of the season, but obviously you got Roma Dunze there. Your Giants, Andrew, of course, for Tyler Linderbaum. We've said that quite a few times, haven't we? But that's one that kind of makes sense, and you'd think they'd go for.
That's not a trade, is it? Is that
Is he a free agent? Oh, he might be a free agent.
I know it's going to cost. They were saying it's going to cost us quite a bit to take him as well, isn't it? But
there's of course tag and trade as well. I mean, Breece Hall been tagged, could get traded.
I think that's the sensible thing for them to do, isn't it? It's for Breece Hall needs to be traded. I think. Why keep hold of him? They're gonna have to pay him quite a bit to keep him there for another 3-4 years. They're rebuilding massively. Running backs are not going to keep their value for that time that they're going to be ready. So it's got to be a tag and trade with Breece Hall. And I know that we have lots of talk about Love being gone by the time the Chiefs have their pick. I think the Chiefs will be in the market maybe to go after a Breece Hall. Maybe
they were heavily rumored last season, weren't they?
The Saints, if they're getting rid of Kamara, if they're cutting him because he's really expensive, I think they might be another team. If they can't get hold of Love in the draft, then they might want to trade for one of the other names as well.
Do you think? What about Pickens and Pitts?
I think Pickens is staying. I think Pitts is staying.
If Pitts hadn't had the season he had last season, I would have been. He wouldn't have been tagged for me.
No, they would have just let him go, wouldn't they? I think that they would have just not bothered. But they've shown what he can actually produce when he's actually thrown the ball. And it is because he's the tight end position. It's not overly expensive to tag a tight end. It's a lot cheaper to tag Pitts than it is to tag Pickens. And production-wise, they were very similar last year, and it's cost you a lot more to tag Pickens, which I'm not sure whether that's the right decision from the Cowboys. That's another really expensive guy on the offense when they need to spend money elsewhere. But he deserves what he gets. I think he had a good year.
I suppose Stefanski does use that tight end position really well in an offense. He did it in Cleveland. So, having Pitts makes sense, doesn't it? What about, someone like Trey Hendrickson, someone who's been rumored for feels like 2 years now to be traded? He's not. Nothing's come out yet about him being tagged. That cost him.
That's not going to be traded either, is it? He's a free agent, isn't he? He was only Trey Hendrickson.
That's what I'm saying. Is if they tag him, is that a tag and trade, or do they just release him? Tagging him would be 24.4. They tagged him last season, didn't they, as well?
Yeah,
and then got a year extension.
Well, you rarely tag someone twice, do you? I know it's not a rule, but it's like a grey area of a slap in the face, isn't it? So that might be
because to tag him would be 24. He's one in north of that easily. I mean, he's real good as well.
I'll tell you one that I have heard. When it's Giants related because that's a lot of my feed. I have heard the Giants possibly going after Mark Andrews.
That would be an interesting one. And then Baltimore taking Stowers in the draft.
They could take several people, but I don't know. He's at an age now where they probably might want to move on from him. We know what Harbaugh's done with him, and we've got Theo Johnson, and we know he likes multiple tight ends. So I have heard that there might be a move for Mark Andrews to the Giants.
Do you want any other Ravens players whilst you're at it? Just bring the whole team over. Why don't you? Get Lamar in. You can do some special plays. Lamar and Jackson Dart, and them both on the field at the same time.
We're fine with the price that we're paying for because Lamar's going to get a load of money, isn't he? So we don't want that.
He's already had a load of money. He's probably going to get a bucket ton more. Yeah, I think. I mean, the cap has gone. The cap's gone up by 22 million. That's sort of why I said about the Cowboys earlier with Max Crosby is that it has given them with it going up, that's actually, they were in real bad, in a pretty poor cap space, but now with the bump, they're actually in a pretty okay cap space. Now it'll be interesting now to see from when we were talking sort of last season about the future for some of these teams, with the cap now being adjusted, that 22 mil wiggle room doesn't sound like loads. With the cap being 301.2 million up to get all together, but that is good wiggle room. Some of these teams, this will be really, really important. And yeah, I mean, like for the Saints, for example, who are just in cap hell, getting rid of Kamara frees up 18.6 million, and they've got a free 22 million space that's just come up. They've got 40 million in space out of nowhere. They could do a bit more money. That's what I was talking about earlier with Mike McCarthy and the Steelers and teams retooling or regentrifying that the roster with this movement as well with cap. It gets easier to be able to do that. But of course, as time will go on, the money for players will get larger as well. So it will iron itself out eventually, won't it? These contracts are only going one way, and that's north.
Fred, I've got a quick one for you that's been rumoured quite a lot recently. But might be a bit of a laugh one from Adam's going to laugh and say it. There's a player coming out of retirement that has the right to his team, so he's going to have to be traded because
does he throw the ball?
Derek Carr.
Okay.
Laugh at him. He deserves this.
How do we feel about him coming out of retirement, and also that he's going to need to be traded?
He's officially said he's coming out of retirement?
I think he has, yeah.
It has been rumoured that it's because he was isn't he coming towards the end of his contract with the Saints, and so therefore if he wants to come out of retirement he could, but technically he's still a player for the Saints, and so therefore they would have to trade for him. But I mean, it would be minimal sort of.
I mean, if Phil Rivers can come back and play for the Colts, why can't Derek Carr come back?
But where though?
But you know where he should go? This can sound really. You're going to laugh at this, especially. You are going to howl at this. He should go back to the Las Vegas Raiders and back up Fernando Mendoza.
He's not coming back to be a backup, is he?
Man, it goes back to the Raiders, backs up Mendoza, ease Mendoza in. You could do that if you wanted to. But no, you're right. I think if he came back, he isn't wanting to be. But you can't have this much time out and come back and say you're a starter. What he can come back and do is do what we were just talking about, where he comes back and goes, "I'll be a backup, but I'm playing for a starting position next season, or I'm playing for a starting position within this team."
Maybe the Colts. That
and the Colts can't do. Oh my God, the Colts can't keep getting it wrong, though.
No,
like they just can't.
Daniel Jones he might not be ready for the start of the year either, Daniel Jones.
Mm.
So,
could do that. That's not.
He could go to Kansas City and back up Patrick Mahomes and start the season.
Again, he won't be back at Willie. He'll be starting. It would be a very sensible move.
Well, there you go then. Yeah.
It depends where he's at, man. It depends where he's at. He equally is going to be doing a combine-esque thing, isn't he? If he wanted to do that, he's going to have to go and show pony himself around for these teams and show them that he's still got a little bit of it. Because at the Saints in the last few years, he lost all of it. And yeah, I'm a lot higher on Derek Carr in his prime than a lot of people were. This guy was nearly an MVP. Like he was a good quarterback in his day. We've just in recency bias realized, and it was on a lot of really poor teams, and went to the Saints, had a one all right year, and that was about it really. And then it all crumbled. But again, went from a really poor team to a really poor team. So, what could this guy have done? What could this guy do in a team that's actually functional? We've seen, age, admittedly, but I mean, even Aaron Rodgers at the Steelers. I mean, come on, like that's a showcase for a team for a quarterback that can play in it. Our thing with the Steelers has not been that Aaron Rodgers looked really bad. That's not been our narrative at all. Rodgers has been really good this season. Well, if Carr's got anything left in him, with a little bit of a younger age compared to Aaron Rodgers, he could be really, really functional in a team. It may allow some teams to have some breathing room going into next draft that is meant to be a field of quarterbacks that are meant to be our next generation of rising stars. So it could give some teams some breathing space. The Cardinals could be a team. I know they've got Jacoby Brissett, but again, gets injured. Do you do that? I don't know. What do you think, Adam?
They're going to get Malik Willis, aren't they? The Cardinals.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors that he's not going to the Dolphins, isn't there?
No, it's going to go to the Cardinals and just keep throwing that ball to Trey McBride.
Speaking of okay, just announced that the Bengals are not franchise tagging Trey Hendrickson.
There you go. Oh. He's out.
So he'll be. I mean, does he rise now as the number 1 free agent?
No.
You think Kenneth Walker's number 1? And what, Hendrickson 2?
I think it's difficult, isn't it, to get away from Ken Walker, given what he did in the Super Bowl. I think that's hard to get away. So I think he should be. I know he's a running back, so teams don't necessarily value it as much, but maybe they should do now. You look at what's happened in the last few years: Barkley at the Eagles, and now Walker in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I think the Walker's number 1. Hendrickson should be pretty high up on that list.
I think in terms of positional value at edge rusher, Hendrickson may be the number 1 guy to go for in terms of that's a cornerstone piece, is it? Quarterback, left tackle, edge rusher.
The only thing I'd say is there's a lot of edge rushers in this draft class, isn't there?
There is a lot of talented guys, but
so do you really want to be going out and getting yourself a guy who will be 32?
Yeah.
This has got Buffalo Bills screaming all over it. Von Miller.
It does a little bit, yeah.
It does, doesn't it? Doesn't that scream the Buffalo Bills? Really? Win now? Really, a really, really great edge rusher. I mean, he's phenomenal. So we'll have to see where he goes.
I think Tyreek will be more sought after than what you think as well.
Okay.
Isn't he in a bit of trouble though? Oh, I got to wait for his trouble.
When is Tyreek not in a bit of trouble?
Have the Chiefs got to re-sign Kelsey as well? Is that a dick? I'm all right.
I think so.
Yeah. Yes, they do. I think that will probably happen though.
And we'll have another year of Travis and Taylor. Long live the NFL.
Thank the Lord.